friends, welcome to the Inspired Knitting Podcast. I'm your host Bobby and I am coming to you from Strait Shores, New Brunswick, Canada. Today is Friday, May the 29th, 2026, and you're watching episode 150. Welcome. This is my podcast where I share with you my knitting adventures and my crocheting adventures. Today there is both. A little bit more crochet heavy again, but there is both. And yeah, this is my little corner of YouTube where I share all my crafting with you. So if you are new, welcome. I know there have been a few new people join the podcast, so welcome. And to all my returning viewers, welcome back. Thank you for your ongoing support and love. So yeah, just a little bit of administration. I always say this, but there are detailed show notes down below in the description box. You can always find detailed show notes with direct links to any designers or makers that I talk about. You can also find where you can find links to where you can find me on the internet. I am most active on Instagram as Inspired Knitting Podcast, and you can also find me on Ravelry as X Country Girl 1986. X, all down below. Okay, so this week I have both knitting and crochet. I don't have any knitted finished objects, but I do have lots of crochet finished objects. But I do have knitting and works in progress. So I know a lot of you said that you really love seeing my crocheting. So I know that this is technically a knitting podcast, but it's really turning into a crocheted one. So I hope you guys don't mind that. But I will just warn you right away that there is no finished objects that are knitted. So if you just want the knitting details, it's all socks, of course. Just skip ahead to works in progress, I suppose. But if you are in it for the whole shebang, finished objects is pretty much crocheted. So that's what I got today. So grab your beverage of choice, grab your craft of choice, and we will just dive right in. I currently do not have a coffee with me. I'm all coffeeed out for the day. So I'm just going to trug along here and show you what I have. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a really cute pattern that I just discovered yesterday, and I just could not help myself. We are coming into the summer season, and it's all about campfires, and I just love it. Now, I don't particularly like marshmallows. I know, I'm weird, right? I do like them, but I'm not really a sweet person. I am a salty person, which that's not good, I know. But neither things are technically good for us, but we have to enjoy some things in life, I suppose. But all that to say, I saw this pattern and I was just like, oh my God, I have to make this. So this is by Littlebabyroycrafts. You can find her on Etsy. It is a paid for pattern. But it's a marshmallow on a stick. I mean, you guys, it's a marshmallow on a stick. It reminds me of Jose the jalapeno on a stick. Yes, I love Jeff Dunham. But when I saw this, I was just like, oh my God, I absolutely have got to make that. So it is really, really simple to make. The stick portion of it, you do put a plastic or wooden dowel in it. But it's really awesome because the designer actually has an instructional video to get you through the more difficult parts of the pattern. And it's not difficult, but it is very helpful to watch the video just in case. She gives some very helpful tips, including that when you're doing you can do the stick any length that you want to. But if you use blanket yarn, which I did, that kind of yarn stretches a lot. So if you have a 6-inch dowel and you crochet 6 inches, your crocheting is going to be a little bit longer than that dowel because it stretches. So there's some very helpful tips within the video that are helpful to watch, especially for me when it came to the marshmallow part of it, because you did have to turn a portion of it inside out. And when she said to turn in the written instructions, I took it the wrong way at first until I watched the video, and then I realized what she meant by turn your work. So it's very informative to watch the video. So yes, that's my puppy Blue. She wants in here, but she's too destructive. She will knock y'all over. So that's Blue, my puppy. She's fine. She's just gonna lay down by the door with her sorrowful eyes. Yep. Hey, Boo. Okay. So here's the mushroom. Marshmallow. I decided to embroider the face on. I thought it would be cuter. To be quite honest with you, I actually forgot to put the safety eyes in. I was just so involved, like zoned in with the construction of the mushroom. Why do I keep saying mushroom? It's a marshmallow. It's a marshmallow, guys, not a mushroom. Marshmallow. I was so focused on this really cute marshmallow that I forgot to put the safety eyes in, and I just decided to embroider them instead. And if you're like me and you're not really good at embroidery, there's a lot of helpful videos on YouTube that you can search up and learn how to do this on your own. I do not know how to embroider, guys. I am not very good at it, but look at what we have here. So if I can do it, y'all can do it too. So I think it's super cute without the plastic eyes, to be quite honest. So I did go with a plastic dowel, and then this little portion here, it only has stuffing in it. You don't put a dowel in this. And you could also do this. You could do your stick longer, and you could put 2 marshmallows, or you could put 3. You're technically supposed to use like a blanket type yarn with a 5mm crochet hook. I'm using my typical 7mm crochet hook. I've talked about this many times before, but when I use blanket yarn, that is my most comfortable gauge that I like to use. That way my hands don't hurt. So mine tend to turn out a little bit bigger. There's a couple color options that you can have within this pattern. When it comes to the marshmallow, you could do a pure white marshmallow, or you could do the toasted version like I have done. Now for me, you would go between as she has it in her pattern, a chocolate and a more toasted color and white. I actually had this multi-colored one in my stash of brunette blanket yarn that kind of does that by itself. So I just did as many rows as I thought I needed to do before the eyes, and then I changed to white. So I kind of just guessed it myself and did that portion myself. But there is a toasted version, there's a plain version, and then there's a version where you could have like a little cute flame on it, which I think is really cute. You could do that with the toasted or the plain version, and I think it looks adorable. So there's a couple different versions that you could do. She even has a pink marshmallow as well. So many different things that you could do with this, but I just thought it was really cute. I thought it would be great for summer, and I really love it. So I will have that linked below for you. Littlebabyroycrafts on Etsy. It is paid for pattern, and I think it is totally worth it. And it will come off. I'm not going to take it off right now because it's a little tricky to get back on, but the marshmallows do come off. They are not fixated on there. I love it. It's so good. So that's the first thing that I did. Well, I did yesterday, I should say. That's not the first thing I did. I did multiple things this week. I kind of just go with the flow when it comes to my toy making. I kind of just look at patterns. I try to stay away from Etsy because it's a whole different story when it comes to Etsy. There's so many different patterns out there. There's so many great patterns, and you got to stay away from it because you're going to have a full library and you're not even going to do half of them because there's no time. So anyways, when it comes to the week of doing toys, it's just whatever inspiration hits. So it could be anything. So this week I kind of have a mixture of things. One I'm going to leave to last, but where should I start? I'm going to start with these guys, I think. So I saw a pattern on Etsy and I did purchase it, but I have yet to make it. It was turning out a little bit bigger than I wanted it to. It's for a frog, and it's just like this basic, like a body, and then you have its little eyes, and then it's actually got long legs that would like hang off of a table. And I think that's rather cute. It was done in blanket yarn, but because I use a 7mm, not a 5 or a 4.5, it turns out a little bit bigger, and using blanket yarn, it was turning out pretty big, and I didn't want it to be that big, so I ripped it back out. I didn't get that far. I'm gonna redo the pattern in worsted weight yarn instead, and I think that would be the size that I'm kind of going for. But I really wanted to do a frog for my table. Don't ask me why, I just wanted a frog. So I was on Ravelry, and I was looking up all the patterns from Allfromjade, and she has a chubby frog pattern. It's $3.50 Canadian, which I think is rather decent. It's rather fair, and it's super cute. So I made some froggies, and they are so easy to make. So easy to make. It is a no-sew pattern, and yeah, they're amazing. I think they're going to be a great addition to my table. So this one was done in Bernat Blanket Sparkle in, I believe it's called Seafoam. And then this one was done in Loops and Threads, and I don't know what the colorway name is. So you can kind of see the difference, even though they're both blanket type yarns or plush yarns. I don't know what you call them, but you can kind of see the size difference here. And yeah, they're just knit all in one piece. You do not have to sew anything on. The only thing I had to do was embroider on the mouth. And yeah, I think they turned out super, super cute. I love them. And they are just a chubby little frog. Love it. So this is a pattern from Allfromjade. So I did those. And then I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I don't know why I haven't. But surprise, surprise, Oak and Marlow. Love Oak and Marlow. I decided to make some Beth bunnies this week. And I wanted to do Beth Bunny in particular because the Beth Bunny pattern comes with the headband accessory. It comes with a headband and it comes with the pixie hat. And I really wanted to do the headband. I was seeing like this vintage kind of look with the overalls. It does have the overall option included. So you crochet it in. You do not crochet the overalls separately and put them on. They are added into the pattern. So I made 2 Beth bunnies, and this is all using Bernat blanket yarn. So I don't know, this yarn here, the main color is Bernat Blanket Mysticals. So it's a mixture of brown and gray. The dark blue is Twilight. And then the headbands are done in terracotta. I cannot tell you what this colorway is. I'd like to say it's Seafoam, but I don't know. But anyways, here's Beth Bunny with her little headbands. So cute. I absolutely adore these. I absolutely adore these. And for the straps, you also do not, I don't want to give anything away because it is a paid for pattern. You do not have to sew those on. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. It is pretty awesome. and I always do the face shaping. This nose here you can see is different from this nose here. I prefer this one here, but I just did two different things. I'm kind of practicing with my embroidery a bit. I'm not the greatest. But here is Beth. The headband is not hard to do at all, and I think it adds such a charming little piece. I love them. So Beth Bunny, Baby Beth Bunny by Oak and Marlowe. Awesome. And the noses are done with worsted weight yarn. She recommends that you use worsted weight yarn, and I do agree with that. It does make it stand out a little bit better than if you were to use the blanket yarn. Okay, the next thing that I have here, what do I have here? I'm just going through my bucket. I have my little bucket here beside me. The next one that I have that I decided to do was another mermaid. So the Mermaid is a add-on from Oak and Marlowe that you can add to any of the Fable babies. And I think it's amazing. I want to say that it's around the $3.50 range Canadian. So it's just an add-on. So what that's going to give you is the tail portion of the mermaid, and then you go from that to your Fable baby that you would like to create. And I know that this past week, they actually came out with the mermaid tail on Jolene Kitty. And I never clicked onto it because I already have the mermaid extension, but I know how to, I already have Jolene Kitty, so I know how to put Jolene's body onto the mermaid, so I don't find it feasible to purchase the pattern, so I didn't look into it. But there's two versions of Jolene that I know of. Jolene Kitty comes the original way, which was worsted weight, and then Jolene also comes in the blanket yarn. So I'm not sure which one it is. I want to say it was the blanket yarn. It looked like it was blanket yarn, but you can go check out Oak and Marlowe on Ravelry for yourselves, or on her website, which I will have linked below for Ravelry, that is, and you can find that out for yourselves. But I decided to do Baby Fin Bear, and I decided to do it on the mermaid tail. I did one of these last week, and I was very fortunate. I had it on my table not that long, and it got scooped up right away. So it's coming into summertime, so I figured the mermaid edition would be very popular. We live in the Atlantic provinces here, and the aquatic animals seem to be a big hit. So and besides that, I think they're super cute. So there's a couple different variations to this pattern, and it comes in the form of her top. So you can do the taquini top, you could do a bikini top, or I think there's another option that you can do. But I decided to do Baby Fin, and it's Burnett blanket yarn. And I'm not sure if I did two of them. Hang on one second. I don't know. Yes, I did. I did. I thought so. So this one here is, I didn't get to share it on the last podcast because I woke up Saturday morning on a mission. I always wake up super early. I wake up around 5:30 on a Saturday morning because market technically opens at 9 a.m., but they like you to be set up at 8:30 because we do have some people that come in early. And I always get up at 5:30. That way I can have my coffee and just relax and enjoy. And last Saturday morning I was on a mission, so I practically created this exact toy before I even went to market. Which was crazy. I was just on a mission, and I was like, I just had purchased the mermaid portion of it, and I just went crazy with it. I was having so much fun. I thought it was so cute. It's easy to do. You do not have to sew anything on these except for the arms the ears, and if you embroider the nose. That's all you got to do to these. And for somebody that doesn't like sewing parts on, that's pretty decent. So I really love this pattern. I love the zucchini option. I think that's a nice little option. I really love it. So I practically created her. It's Beth Bunny. I think she looks adorable. And it was in these exact colors. So this is Brunette Blanket Sparkle. And I don't know if you guys can even see the sparkle come up. I think you can a bit. And I think it's called Seafoam, pretty sure. And I used the hot pink for the nose because I thought that was just very beachy. I don't know. That's what I envisioned. But it's kind of funny because this is Brunette Blanket yarn as well. And I did not miss any rows. I did the exact same amount of rows. And you could see the difference between Beth Bunny and Fin Bear. So it's kind of funny. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. They're both amazing. They're both lovely. I absolutely love them. So I will have both linked. I will have the Mermaid Tail linked, mod linked, and I will have Beth Bunny, and I will also have Fin Bear linked, so you can check those out. So cute. I love these. These toys are amazing. And then I had been wanting to do this pattern for a long time. It is also by Oak and Marlow. I swear I'm going to have every single Oak and Marlow pattern. And if you follow Oak and Marlow, you are a crocheter and you love to make toys, you will know that Oak and Marlow is now coming out with the lofty version of these Fable babies. So you can have the ones that I think they're just called like Fin Bear, I think. I don't really know, but they have like longer legs on them. And then the babies have like the shorter limbs on them. Like the legs and arms are longer on the originals, and then the babies have like the shorter legs and the shorter arms. Well, now we're getting lofty. And lofty just means that we're going from a bear that big, not literally, but we're going from a bear that big to something that's that big, and he's lofty and he's like friggin' amazing. So Fin Bear, Lofty Fin Bear, has already come out this week, guys. And he has a cute bumblebee outfit by the look of it. Not quite sure about that part, but I think so. I've been seeing a lot of people post that. Oh my God, I have not purchased it yet, guys. I am on the fence about it. I'm like, you already got Fin Bear. Do you really need Lofty Fin Bear? Yes, I do, but I'm trying to be responsible about this right now. It's not working great. I will probably have it and have it on the next podcast, to be honest with you. You know me. But it's amazing, and I'm seeing what everybody is creating, and it just looks amazing. I love it. Oak and Marlow, Jocelyn, you were evil. You were creating the most amazing things ever. All that to say, this pattern has been out for a while, I believe, and it is the Junie and Bean pattern, which is a bunny wabbit. And I created Junie. I didn't create Bean, so I'm just going to show it to you and explain. So here's Junie. I want to keep Junie for myself. She is precious. Look at her. Just look at her. She's done in Brunette Blanket yarn, of course. She's amazing. I just love her. I've been wanting to do her for a while, but I just needed the pattern, so I got the pattern. And so Junie comes with Bean. Bean is a little version of Junie, and you can do a version of the arm. So one arm is the same, but the second arm is modified so that her arms are kind of folded, and she can hold Bean in her arms. So I was tempted, guys, but I decided just to start off with Junie, and this is what I come up with. So I decided to do a white cottontail. I thought that would be a nice contrast. I did put plastic safety eyes, but I embroidered her nose This time I did use Bernette blanket yarn because I wanted it to be a little bit more lofty. And then they give the details in the pattern on how to do her little foot beans. Isn't that cute? Such beautiful detail. I love it. So this is Junie. She does come with Bean. Bean does come with her. So do check it out. I'll have it linked below. But she is just precious. I love her. I want to say every Oak and Marlow pattern is my favorite, but so far I want to say that Junie she's just precious. I love everything about her. And I think she would be even more amazing if you were to put weighted stuffing in her rather than just plain stuffing. I think that would make her even more amazing to cuddle up with, especially if you have anxiety. I think that would be really amazing. But this is Junie by Oak and Marlow. I love her. So amazing. So for this pattern, you do crochet the arms and the legs first, and then they are crocheted right into her body. So the only thing that you are sewing on is her ears, and you embroider her nose. And her tail is also crocheted in as well. You do that first as well. So that's even better. You don't have to like sew those things on, which for me is a big bonus. Maybe that's why I loved her so much. There she is. Junie and Bean by Oak and Marlow. All right. The next one that I have is another Oak and Marlow pattern. I have gotten a request by a customer, and sadly, every time she comes up to my booth, I do not have one in stock. So I wanted to have two made this week. I still have to make one today, but maybe, because as you can tell, it is raining here in the Maritimes. We've had a very rainy and cool week. Mother Nature, what is going on here? You give us temperatures that are in the 20s, and then you put us down. Tomorrow's going to be 9 degrees Celsius, guys. 9. I am not doing the market tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday, and I canceled out the market because it is supposed to be cool and it's supposed to be raining, possibly. There is no way that I am going to sit outside in a park and freeze to death. I am just not willing to do that. I have done it before. I'm not doing it again. As much as I love doing this market, I am not willing to do that. So, all that to say, there's my little rant of the podcast. I do not like this weather, Mother Nature. Get your act together. But I was going to make another one today, but I don't know if I will, because working with black yarn in this light is very bad for me. I have trouble seeing. But I want to try to make a couple black cats so that when my customer comes back, she might actually snag one that she's been looking for. So I did Black Kitty Cat by Oak and Marlow. This is Baby Tilly Cat. And yeah, there she is. I do not know what was up with me yesterday. I made her yesterday as well. Now, it was my first make of the day. I was still drinking my first coffee of the day, but I was having so much trouble making her. I don't know why. I did one of her ears, and I had to cut it back off and redo it because it looked like a bear ear. It did not look pointed like it's supposed to look like that. And this, I'm not even happy with one of the ears. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too picky, but I cut it back off because it just looked rounded. It did not look pointed at all. And then I was having trouble. Her nose got cut off because I embroidered it, and I was like not happy with it. So I cut it off and I redid it again. This poor kitty cat went through the ringer, guys. But here's the finished kitty cat with gold eyes, because she wanted gold eyes. I did do the modification where I put the tail on. I just pick up stitches here and do a tail. And yeah, there's Tilly Cat, Baby Tilly by Oak and Marlowe. So I plan on making another one. I think I'm going to do Jolene Kitty instead, like with the Burnett blanket yarn. But I'm going to do Jolene Kitty instead because with Jolene, her head construction is a little bit different and I don't want to mess with the ears again at this point. I've already been scarred by them once. No, I will do it again, but I think the next kitty I'm going to do Jolene. I think they're both adorable though, so it doesn't matter. But it'd be nice to have options as well. But black cats are apparently very high demand. So, okay. Next, we got a puppy. This is another one of those patterns that I saw on Etsy that I could not refuse, and I was bad because I kind of forgot that the dog was in here, so I do not remember the name of the creator, but I will have it linked down below for you guys. But it's a dachshund, and I thought it was like so stinking cute. Yes, I did not sew its head on straight. I'm not 100% happy with this one, guys, because you do have to do the body. So it's got little like stitches that pronounce its feet, and it's got its little tail, which is like crocheted in, so you don't have to crochet it separately and sew it on, but you do have to sew the head on. And now you know what Bobby is talking about when it comes to sewing stuff on. You can tell that I did not sew this on correctly. The ears are sewn on as well, and I do not like it because they do not sit the way that they're supposed to, unless I choose to like take a strand of yarn and like tack them down. Maybe something like that. I have not decided yet, guys, but according to my friend, I should just leave them this way because it looks like a running dog, like a running dachshund. I don't know. It is kind of cute. So I haven't quite decided yet, but it's a cute pattern. If I was to make it again, there's a few starting rounds here. This is embroidered on. I would probably start off with black yarn and then increase out to the head rather than embroidering all of this on, because as you can see, there's like patches here that aren't covered, and I'm not exactly happy with that. I don't know. It's a good pattern. I think that it's written fairly decent. You could even do a modification where you're changing your colors here to make it look like it's wearing a sweater. So it is pretty cute. And you can also, I think it is part of the pattern, but there's another dachshund that's a spiral dog. So you have this portion of it and then the center spirals, and then you got its back end. So it is pretty cute. I haven't done that one yet just because I didn't really like the way this one turned out. But that's just me, guys. That's just me as a crocheter. I am still, even though I do a lot of toys, I would still say I'm relatively newish to the patterns when it comes to toys. So when it comes to sewing parts on and making them look like really cute, I'm still new at this. At least I think I am, or I see myself as I am. So this one I'm not 100% happy with, but I still think it's kind of cute. Kind of. But yeah, if I was to redo this one again, I would definitely start off with some black yarn, like, and then crochet, like, rather than embroidering it. That's the only thing I would do differently. So yeah, there's the dachshund. Not going to talk too much more about it because there's not much more to say about it. Okay, now I have one more thing to share with you when it comes to finished objects. There's 5 of them all together, if I remember correctly, but it is one of my best sellers at my market table, and it is this cute little turtle. Isn't it cute? And I love these turtles. They're easy to make. There are no low sew pattern. And by that, I mean, I do tack the head. So whenever I do this turtle, there's two versions for the neck. I do the long neck version. So when I do the long neck version, what I do is when you finish off the body here, you leave yourself a long enough tail at the bottom that you can seam it up, come up through the shell, and tack this head to the body. It just gives it a more better look, it more finished look, because if you just let the head hang naturally, it's gonna flop to the floor, and I don't like that. It's much cuter this way to me. So that's what I do. And then if you choose to do a girl and you want to do the flower is included in the pattern. You do have to sew that on, so it's a low sew pattern. But everything else, like its head, its little feet, its tail, that is all crocheted in, as well as this little edging here. So it's all crocheted in, which I really love. So this turtle is really easy to make. It's by Planet Pui. I'll have it linked below. I don't know how to say that last part correctly. That's why I'm spelling it out. But I'll have it linked below. It's the 2-in-1 plush turtle, I believe it's called. And they do it in both worsted weight or in blanket type yarn. I've done it both ways. Blanket yarn turns out pretty large. Worsted weight turns into this cute little one. And this is the one that sells the most. But I got a call this week and I got an order for 25 of these little turtles. So I'm going to meet with her tomorrow. I'm going into town just to meet with her. She's got some little charms for me that say 2026. It's for a family reunion. So I will have to see the charms first. She kind of described them to me, but I need to see them first, and somehow I will incorporate them into the turtles. But she wanted a couple sample turtles done in some different colors. So I have kind of a rainbow of colors when it comes to my worsted weight. So I think I can do, hopefully she wants some random ones, because I can definitely do that. I can do some repeat ones because I do have enough yarn. They don't take up too much yarn. But here's the first one I did. And then I did some browns, and this one reminds me of coffee for some reason, but this one does not have a flower. It's for like a little boy. I'm trying to do like boy girl. She said she wanted orange, so I had some peach and orange. This one I did with the flower. And then I did a very girly one. And this is all Red Heart Super Saver. So I have 50-gram balls of Red Heart Super Saver that I got in a multi-pack. So that's where most of these colors are coming from. And then I did this one, which reminds me of John Deere. I know, the things you think of. But there's that one. And then, because this is a family reunion, she is an Acadian, and she had kind of asked me, like, is there any way that we can kind of incorporate the Acadian colors into a turtle? And I was like, I don't see why not. So this is what I come up with. I came up with the red, white, and blue, but I did the yellow star, which is Acadian. So for this one, all I did is, you could, on any of these turtles, you do your shell color, and then you can change to a different color for its belly. I normally just do the same color because I don't like changing colors, but you could do a different color for its belly. So for this one, I did red, and then I chose to do the fringe of the turtle, or, you know, the edging in red, so you could definitely see it. And then I just went on to YouTube and I looked up a mini crocheted star, and it turned out to be the right size. So I'm going to share this with her and see what she thinks about it. But this is kind of my Acadian version of the turtle. So we'll see what she thinks of it. So yeah, that's what I did. So that is the 2-in-1 plush turtle by Planet PIU. And I will have that linked down below for you. It is a paid for pattern, and I believe I got it from amigurumi.com, but I will have it linked below so you guys can find it. Okay, so I'm just putting all my toys back away here, and then we can get on to works in progress. So that's what I got up to this week for finished objects. I'm very, very happy. I have like this Rubbermaid here, and that's kind of where I store all of my toys that I've made for the week. And I got a couple reasons for that. One is because I have 3 cats and a dog, and I cannot just have these things laying around. One, because of fur, right? And I'm trying to be mindful of that. I don't want pet fur all over my toys. And also that they would steal them. So I keep them in this Rubbermaid. The other reason why I have the Rubbermaid is because I keep it beside me, and it kind of helps motivate me throughout the week to see how much I can get done. And you guys, this week I feel so accomplished. Like, that bin is full. Now there's stuff in the bottom of it that is just like random yarn and stuff like that, but the majority, over half of it, is filled with stuff that I just made this week. So that makes me feel so accomplished, so motivated. It's really great. So that's what I do. That's kind of my little thing that I have set up, and it works wonders. So that's what I have been up to this week for finished objects. Now I'm going to go into a works in progress. So the first thing that I have to share with you is my test knit sock. So I shared with you guys last week that I am doing a test knit for Julie of Twin Stitches Designs, and I showed you the first sock that I made, and I'm not a very good test knitter, as I said last time, because I read the pattern wrong, and I just, I don't know, guys. I coulda, shoulda, woulda, but I did the pattern wrong. So I put the patterning on the front of the sock and then just did plain stockinette for needle 2 because I do magic loop. You're supposed to do the patterning all the way around. So I have one finished sock, which I showed you guys last week. And then I don't remember if I showed you guys, but I did cast on the second sock, which is a different pair entirely with the patterning all the way around. So I guess first I should share with you the yarn that I'm using. So I am using H&R Yarns. It's on their Socknado base, which is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 385 yards per 100 grams. And it is Saponi. I don't know how to say that right. And it is turning out rather well. So I am following the pattern. I am doing 64 stitches, but then I decrease down to 56 because I know my socks fit a lot better when I do that. So I cast on 64 stitches for the cuff. That way there's lots of room, but then I decrease down to 56. Now this pattern, as you can tell, it does suck the yarn in a lot, like your fabric in a lot. But with the first sock that I made, I did the same thing. I cast it on 64, went down to 56, and it fits great. So I just decided to do the same thing again. But this is the patterning. It's a beautiful textured pattern, and it does go all the way around. And I got through my heel flap and gusset, and I decreased, and now I'm on to the foot. This is still sock 1. I didn't get as much work done on this week. I don't know what it was. I was so focused on the toys, I guess. But this is a test knit. I need to have it done for June the 5th. At least the first sock. You don't have to have both socks done. So I hope to get some work done on this today. It does work up rather quick. It's a little slow going now that the pattern is all the way around. But now that I'm into the foot of it, it's only half the stitches. So I should be able to fly through it without a problem. Now the pattern does come with like an afterthought heel or a short row heel. I'm doing a heel flap and gusset because the heel flap and gusset fits me best. So anyway, that's what I have so far. I love this colorway. It's so pretty. So that's what I have going on my test knit. Once I am done this sock, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I want to immediately cast on this one, which I think I should do. Or do I cast on the second sock of the first one that I made? I don't know what I want to do yet. We'll see, I guess, when the time comes what happens. But at the end of the day, I will have 2 pairs of these socks, and they're both going to be amazing. I think they both look great. So I got that. And then I had to cast on a new pair of socks because it is summer sock camp, and I already talked about this before. You know that I love Crazy Sock Lady Designs, and she came out with her summer sock camp on May the 25th, and she did release her colorwork sock pattern on May 25th, and I can't remember now if there's a discount for the sock or not. You'll have to go check it out. If there was, it might be over by now. I can't remember. But either way, it's well worth it because it is amazing. So if you follow me on Instagram, you would have already seen it. But I casted on the Cottage Heart Socks by Kayla Litton of Crazy Sock Lady Designs. And here is the color work chart. It is so pretty. I really wanted to do the colors that she had done hers in. Now she did 2 versions, but I wanted to do the yellow, the blue, and the kind of seafoamy greenish blue from Mama Just Knits. But I didn't really have those colors in my stash, and I didn't really want to go out and purchase more yarn. I just wanted to use what already was in my stash. So I have one cubby back here that has a lot of yarn in it that's already been caked up. Some of them don't have tags in them, so I have no idea what they are. And that's the case with pretty much all of this. I realized that I kind of went for the red, white, and blue here, but it doesn't matter. I think that it is gorgeous. It works rather well. So the white portion of it, I believe, is Cascade Heritage. The burgundy color, the smaller hearts, is all dyed up yarn. It is called Wine Me Not. Wine Be Mine? Hang on. Did I put the tag in here? I thought I had it memorized, but guess what? I don't. Can't remember. It's all dyed up though. She is a designer, or a yarn dyer, I should say, from Ontario. I got the tag. Let me see here. Yeah. All dyed up. As you can tell, it's been in my stash for a while. It's all crinkled. It is a 80% merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards per 100 grams, and it is called Wine of Mine. That's the burgundy. And the blue, No idea. I have no idea. It was just a random cake that was in my stash, and I thought that it would work rather well. It was already caked up, so I'm like, bonus. All of these were already caked up, so I'm like, works for me. So this is the leg of the sock. So I did 15 rounds of 2x2 ribbing for the cuff, and I did this is not giving anything of the pattern away, but I did 5 rows of blue. I went into the chart, did the chart, and when I finished the chart, I did 5 more rows of blue. And now I'm going to start doing the heel flap and gusset, which I will do the heel flap in white. And then the rest of the sock is just going to be navy blue. I am not going to do any more color work in the sock. The original pattern has you do this colored chart again by the toe. I am not going to do that. I am going to omit that. It's just going to be kind of a short sock that is plain in the foot, but has the color work on the leg here. And I think that will be quite beautiful. So yeah, there is my Cottage Heart Socks by Crazy Sock Lady, or Kayla Litton. Love it. And this is the 2026 Summer Sock Camp pattern. You do not have to knit this pattern to be part of Summer Sock Camp, guys. You can do any kind of sock you want. You can do adult size, you can do baby size, child size. You can knit them, you can crochet them. It doesn't matter, and it's free to join. So do follow Crazy Sock Lady if you have not. You can get much better details and all the questions answered from her, but it is amazing to be part of this amazing group. And you can post your socks just for the fun of it, or you can also post them for prizes. I'm not looking for prizes. I'm just doing it for the fun of it because I love knitting socks. I know that a lot of people, you can put whips into it as well. I already said this last week, but in case you're watching for the first time and you're like, oh, what's Summer Sock Camp? So kind of my goal for Summer Sock Camp is I'm just trying to work through the socks that I have lingering already. So I got these 2 test knit socks that I'd like to get done. I have a couple other socks that I have already started that I'd like to get done. I think that would be great, kind of clear off my needles. But I had to cast on the Cottage Heart socks. I do not really care for color work that much. I love the look of it, just don't like doing it that much. But I know Kayla put up a video and I have yet to watch it because I'm curious. I am a continental knitter and I drop my yarn each time I go to knit with a new color. But she shows you how to do color work holding it with both hands. And I was like, I'm not going to watch the video because, you know, I'm a continental knitter. Well, I was just watching Rachel is Knitting today. She is from Louisiana and she does knitting tours, and she was just in Scotland, and she's in Ireland. I think she might be back already, but her recaps are coming up on her YouTube channel, Rachel is Knitting. Go check it out. They're very fun. But Rachel also has a knitting podcast, which is also really fun. She's an amazing knitter and spinner. But I was just watching her knitting recap from Ireland and her knitting tour recap, and they went to a workshop where they were learning how to do stranded color work. And she is a continental knitter, Rachel. And she said that she wasn't sure about it, but she'd give it a go. And she was learning how to do it with 2 hands as a continental knitter. And she was getting the hang of it. Not the greatest tension because she's learning, but she got the hang of it. So I am very curious now to watch Crazy Sock Lady's video to kind of see if I can learn how to hold my yarn with 2 hands rather than 1. And maybe up my color work game because I like it, but I get tension issues. So we're going to see how it goes. My tension on this sock, I know they say that if you do tension, have tension issues, you should up a needle size when you do your color work. I did not do that. I'm still knitting on a 2mm. I am dropping my yarn when I go to knit at the new color, but my tension turned out like really, really good. So I'm just going to keep going the way I am on this sock. I'm not going to mess with anything like this pair, but maybe on a swatch of something, learn how to do it with two hands, and maybe that will help me move a little bit faster. Just curious now. It's all a learning curve, right? So if I could maybe learn something new, that would be fun. We'll see. So that is my sock knitting. I didn't knit on much else this week, but I did receive something in the mail yesterday that kind of inspired me to cast something new on today. So at the beginning of the year, I decided to become a Patreon of a homespun house. Molly is an amazing yarn dyer. She is from Germany, and I just love her. She's just so talented. I love her yarn. I love her podcast. I think she's an amazing knitter, and I decided that I was going to try out her Patreon for like a month just to see. And I'm still a Patreon today. Like, I absolutely love it. You get a couple videos every week extra of her daily life, and it's just so much fun to see that. So anyways, something I've always wanted was her yarn, and you can become a Patreon on some different levels, but I became a Patreon to the level where I can receive 3 minis from her every month. And unfortunately, I thought I subscribed in time, but I did not, apparently. But I subscribed in January, and I missed out on the January minis. And I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure I missed the whole window to receive them, which is a little, but it's okay. I started receiving them in February, and I'm still getting them today. You get a shipment every month. So I'm receiving these beautiful minis, and I received my April ones yesterday. And I was just like, I need to figure out something to do with them rather than putting them on a shelf or putting them in my cubby and kind of forgetting about them. I really want to knit with Molly's yarn. So I started thinking of patterns, and automatically I start thinking about advent patterns, because advent patterns are amazing that you can knit with 10 gram, 20 gram mini skeins, and you get to work with multiple colors. And that got me thinking to one of my favorite knits, which was not done with multiple colors. It was done with all one skein. But I started thinking of my, oh goodness, I already forgot the name of it. Little Leftovers cowl by Stephanie Litoven. I will have it linked below. But it is a very beautiful cowl that was written for Advent, and it is joined in the back so it doesn't fall off. But this, I knit this in Lily and Pine. Don't remember the colorway. But as you can see here, it's got all these different texture sections. And each of those sections would technically, I'll just put it on here. Each of these sections would be knit in a different color for like Advent, right? So I was thinking about this, and I thought, well, I already got the cowl, and I really love the cowl because it's fingering weight, it's easy to wear, it doesn't fall off, it's got all these sections, but it's on the smaller side. And I would like to have something where I could put in the whole year of Patreon minis even though I'm missing out on January's. But I still plan on being a Patreon next January, so that doesn't mean that I can't start the new year off by putting it into a shawl. Kind of my thought process. So Stephanie also has the grand opening shawl, which is another Advent inspired shawl that she created. And it's very much like the Little Leftovers cowl, where it has these different sections of patterning, and each section you would change colors. So I decided to go with that one. And there's going to be a bit of crinkling. I apologize. I decided to get this casted on this morning and get it on the go. And I hope to get it caught up to the point where when I receive my next batch of minis, which we're almost ending May, you kind of receive them a bit late, or at least I do here in Canada. So I'm kind of hoping I can get these all in. If I don't, I don't. It doesn't matter. But here is color 1 that I'm starting with. So these were February's minis, and I'll show you the other 2 in a moment here. But here's what I got of the shawl so far. So this is the grand opening shawl by Stephanie Littlebabyroycrafts. And I might be pronouncing her last name wrong, so I'll have it linked below. I am knitting this on a 3mm. She calls for a 325mm. And it's got these different sections of texture. So we start off with the garter. We go into a fun kind of twisted stockinette section. We're back into the garter. And then we would be doing some lace next. And I was tempted to do the lace before I started here today, but I was afraid of losing my light and it's already kind of sketchy, so I decided to wait on that until after podcast. But I'm doing all the same color so far. So technically I was supposed to start with this color, change my colors here, and then change my colors here. I did not want to do that. And I don't know how that's going to work throughout the whole shawl because they are 10-gram minis. You get 3 a month. This is what I have left of my first mini. Is this going to get me through the lace section? I have no idea. What I do know is I kind of don't want to cut my yarn right now and have this little bit left over. I don't know, guys. It's a struggle. It really is. A part of me wants to cut my yarn right now. That way I can start the lace section off in the new color. But another part of me, I love a homespun house. I've wanted her yarn for so long. I don't want it to go to waste. I don't want it just to go on the wayside. I know I would probably use it in a blanket or something, but I don't know. I think that I'm just going to go until I run out of yarn and change to a new color. At least that's what I think I want to do. Really hate the thought of cutting that. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see what I actually come up with and I actually do. But here is the first color. A very pretty speckled yarn. And the construction of this shawl is kind of unique. It is a triangle shaped shawl, but it is kind of unique in the way that it gets constructed. So you would have to take a look on the Ravelry page to see what I'm talking about. And maybe as I'm knitting it, you guys can kind of get a sense of what I'm talking about. But it looks rather interesting. So these are February's Patreon minis. So there was that one. There's this gorgeous blue, which I absolutely love. And then we have this pretty green. So these will be the next ones up. I think I'm going to use the blue next and then do the green. And then these were March's Patreon minis, which is called Market Grape Soda and Whale Belly. Love the names. And there's those colors. Absolutely love it. This one is my favorite. Oh, so pretty. And then this was April's, which if you have not received your April Patreon minis from a homespun house, you might not want to look. So that's just a warning. I'm about to show it. It's called Antique Ballerina and Sweetgrass. And I'm about to show it. Ready? There it is. That green. Oh my god. So pretty. So that is what I have to work with right now. And oh my gosh, I am so happy. Okay, you can look. I won't show it again. So that is what I am working with right now. And I am so happy to finally have a project that I can put them into. I just have to kind of figure out like how I'm going to go about it. Because I know that the shawl was made for Advent, but she used, I got to take this off. It's a bit warm. Woohoo, crazy hair. She used 20-gram minis to do it, but she was also cutting her yarn after each section, and I'm not willing to do that. So I don't know. Maybe leave your comments down below and let me know what y'all think. I kind of want to use up my yarn as much as I can, and I don't know how that's going to look if I'm halfway through the lace section in the light color and then change to the blue. I'm not quite sure how that's going to look. So as of right now, I got through 1 to 3 section in the first color, which I am absolutely fine with. So I'm kind of on the fence right now. I really don't know. We are on a smaller amount of stitches right now for the shawl, so I might be able to get the lace section out of the rest of the ball, but I might not. And what about the rest of the shawl? As it grows bigger, 10 grams probably won't make a full section, and I would have to change. So these are things that I'm now kind of looking at and being like, ugh, maybe I should have chosen a different pattern, but I'm not going back now. This is the shawl that I chose. This is the shawl that I'm going to do. So I guess we'll just roll with it and see what happens. I'm not afraid of running out of yarn because I intend to keep this Patreon going. And I kind of did a rough count of how many months I will have in the whole year, and I'll have more than enough yarn to finish this shawl. So I'm not worried about that. I guess it's just kind of the yarn placement that I'm more concerned of right now. But like I said, we're just going to roll with it and we're going to see. It's my shawl at the end of the day. And I'm going to love it anyways because it's a homespun house and it's going to be very pretty. I'm very sure of that. So anyways, that is the grand opening shawl by Stephanie Littlebabyroycrafts. I will have it linked below, and I will also link the Little Leftovers cowl as well. Again, maybe this would have been a better project for the Little Leftovers cowl, like the yarn being 10 grams, but I want to use as much of the yarn out of the whole year as possible. So it is what it is. Okay, guys, that is what I have worked on this past week. I am very happy with my knitting. As I said, I am not going to market tomorrow. I just don't want to be cold, guys. I have very bad circulation, and I do not want to sit out in the cold dampness. It's not fun. It is not fun at all. We don't really have rain today. We have more of an overcast day today, but it's still very damp out there. And I did go outside and I didn't last very long. I'm very disappointed because we have a beautiful white lilac tree and it's already starting to lose its leaves. Like the wind, we have quite a bit of wind out here and it's already starting to blow. Like there's white leaves all over. Maybe I'll get a picture of it when I finish here. I got a picture of when my tree bloomed at first. Maybe I'll get a picture of it now with all its pretty leaves on the ground, but I'm kind of sad because I love sitting outside just looking at my tree and knitting, and now it's losing its, I can see it from my window here, it's losing its blossoms, or its little petals, whatever you call them. It is what it is. But besides that, it's been a crappy week here. Not much knitting outside for sure. A lot of indoor time, which during the winter, I don't mind that. I don't mind it at all. We have a fireplace, or it's a pellet stove, but it's still a fireplace to me. You can see the fire, and I am quite content and happy. But now that it's nicer weather, I have been bitten by the bug of going outside and knitting, and I don't really take my crocheting outside because then I have to take stuffing outside and eyes and all that. I don't want to deal with that, but it's my happy place in the summer to be outside. I'm a summer girl, not a winter girl. So right now with this kind of crappy cold weather, not enjoying it at all. Besides that, it was a quiet week. Not much really to report back, other than you might see a change here. I am back in my new chair. Kind of had an issue with this chair. I got this chair roughly last fall, I think, if I remember correctly, and I have not got much use out of it. I stayed in the chair for a couple months, I think, like 2 months, and I wasn't going out a lot except to go to the market. And we have a patio, we have a wheelchair van, which is very great. So my friend backs the van up to the patio, and the ramp of the van comes onto the patio. So it's just a matter of coming out of the house, down the ramp, onto this patio stones, and into the van. Great. Don't have to deal with much muck or snow or anything like that. Except for where you're going. If there's a lot of snow, I would have a problem with this chair. My old chair, wheelchair, I had, it was a Quantum 6000. If you know anything about power wheelchairs, I got it roughly 10 years ago, and I love that chair to death. Literally to death. Like, I wore it out. It still goes, and I believe she could still go for a while too, but they want me in a new chair. That one isn't suited for me anymore. They wanted me in a new wheelchair, so they got me a new Quantum wheelchair. It's just that it's set up much differently than the old ones. A lot of things have been upgraded, which you would think would be better, but it is not better. This chair sucks when it comes to going through the terrain, and it does not like snow. I still do not know if it likes snow because they just fixed it this past week. They messed around. The manufacturer, he actually came out, and he fixed it by moving the seat base back. Apparently it was too far forward, so I was sitting too far forward in the chair, which was causing an imbalance. Apparently the suspension can be changed differently so that it's much like my old chairs. We have yet to see. If I have problems with it come the fall winter, I'm pretty sure that they would fix it for me. It's just that they kind of want to keep this suspension on it so it doesn't wear the casters or the wheels out as quickly. But there was a couple things that they fixed on the chair, so the new one here. So it does ride a lot better. It's not as bad. The whole reason I stopped using the wheelchair was because I was coming up the ramp of our house here. I went outside one morning because we have a feral cat, and I went outside to feed said cat, and I was in the new wheelchair, and I decided to go out in a tank top. Well, we're talking February. I think it was February, and it's still really cold, but I just was going to be out there for a minute. And I went out with no socks on because I don't like wearing socks or shoes or anything like that in the house. I like to be barefoot. And I go outside and I couldn't get back up the ramp. The chair would not come up the ramp at all. And it was at that point where I was like, you know what? I don't trust this chair. I could have been stuck outside. I was very lucky that when I yelled a couple times that my friend heard me and was able to help get me in the house. And yeah, it just was not fun. So I stopped using the chair for quite a while until this past week they came and they did these modifications. Now, it's working great for the time being. We don't have snow anymore. We don't have slickness. We don't have ice. So it is yet to be seen how it actually works come the fall winter season. But for now, I am back in my new chair. So that was kind of a long rant about a wheelchair. I do apologize. I guess I'm very chatty today, but that's the excitement, I guess we could say, that happened in my life this week. So it's taking a bit of getting used to being in this chair. I will admit it's nice having the headrest because when my neck gets tired, I can just put my head back and just rest. So that's nice, but it's very funny how two power wheelchairs can be so different to drive. It's funny. There's a few different things about them that they have their own characteristics, so it's very different to go from one wheelchair to another and learn how to operate because they're different machines, very much so. But all that to say, I'm going to stop rambling about wheelchairs because it's boring. It's not knitting related, so I will be quiet and I'm going to let you guys go because we are over an hour now. I think I have talked enough. So I hope your week went well for you. I hope your weekend is even better and your week ahead is a good one. Show notes will be listed for you down below, and I will see you hopefully again next week with a new episode. So until then, guys, God bless and have a good one. Bye.